It came to my mind just now and I felt to share it with you. Have you ever noticed that whenever something happens and you're like, something told me, and something told me, as fearfully and wonderfully made as you have made by God, it is something. But is it humility or what will I call it that has made us to relegate the Holy Spirit to a thing? Like noun is the name of a person, animal, place, or thing. So part of the you now have to relegate Holy Spirit to a thing. You relegate your conscience. Fine. God helps us to build our conscience, our inner man. God helps us to develop it by exercising. It comes through different ways. It could come through circumstance. It could come through events. It could come through our body not just wanting to just go out. Not just because God will walk with you at your pace. If you are willing to speed up the fellowship with God, with relationship with God, how God speaks to you, of course, you go on the speed of light. But God works at your pace. Let me just put it that way. Your capacity to be able to hear Him at the speed of light, it will be determined by how you have allowed Him to walk with you on a journey. Or you could believe a prophet, you could believe a minister of God, you could believe another person and say it with your mouth that Holy Spirit told the prophet. But to yourself, you have relegated the Holy Spirit to a thing. Is it shyness, I will call it, or not wanting to be proud, or what? On a more serious one, kí ló ń ṣe wá? Nǹkan yẹn dẹ̀ sọ fún mi o, nǹkan yẹn. When you're not a familiar spirit, when you don't talk with when you're not aboku sọ̀rọ̀, it just came to my mind now. As in, it just dawned on me that when things happen and when um ministers of God tend to say something and it tallies with what we have been thinking, and it's like confirmation. So you tend to undermine the work that God is working with you in the spirit. You warn yourself. Please particularize importance Holy Spirit to you. God speaks to you through your conscience. God can speak to you. You exercise your spiritual senses the way you exercise your physical senses. I was trying to call someone yesterday on his wedding anniversary, and he was trying to guess who was talking, and at some point he calmed down and got that it was me. Why? Even though I had called him over you, we were talking for a while now. Because he was able to quickly decipher who could have talked in this manner, who says things like this, who you get. So if you have not risked stepping into the waters when you think it was God speaking to you, you can't pick the frequency, and you need to go on a journey because it is time to start hearing God for yourself. Anybody can be used by the flesh, anybody can be used by the devil. But my own point here is even you saying that something told me. To say, I just came to me that God speaks to you. Claim that your pastors hear God, your prophets hear God, and you feel when you think it is God that is speaking, you should just relegate him to something told me. Warn yourself. You're a spirit being. Definitely your spirit connects to God, but the capacity at which the spirit garners from God depends on how you have allowed yourself to exercise your senses. God speaks through men different ways, but because they have sharpened their senses over time. So you to work with God in sharpening your senses with time. And please stop saying something told me. You are not a familiar spirit, and you are not soul that has to go and contract Aboku Soro to go and be speaking to a familiar spirit, to go and conjure Samuel spirits. I hope this helps. It just came to my mind and I just thought to share. So we're speaking to you, Holy Spirit. But when Devon is speaking and is bringing a bad thought, you know how to say Devon told me, Devon pushed me. But you're not bold enough to say God told me. Even if you are going to be wrong, I perceived in my spirit can still be used. But saying something told me, must stop. Thank you. Have a lovely day ahead. Have a lovely time ahead. Is anything here?